coming to see my video today. My name is Valerie from myrainbowcoalition.blogspot.com. I'm here today with my second process video in my series using my July Counterfeit Kit Club kit, Friday I'm in Love. I'm showing how I made this layout called Hello Morocco. I made this layout in response to the first Counterfeit Kit Club challenge for the month of July. We were challenged to take inspiration from one of the master counterfeiters. I was inspired by a post I saw from Leslie at Oh Blog It If You Can't Beat Them, in which she discussed having some difficulty finding ways to use clothespins in her scrapbooking. I decided to take up that as a challenge. I have these clothespins that I found in the craft department of Walmart for $2 for a pack of 50. And I really like them because they're smaller than most of the ones I've seen in scrapbooking company lines, but they're also plain, so I can customize them in any way that I want to. The picture I'm going to scrap today is one of a trip I took with my friend Maggie to Europe in 2005. We were in southern Spain and found ourselves in Tarifa. There were signs everywhere advertising the ferry to Morocco. And since we could see Africa, we just couldn't imagine being that close and not going. We did a little bit of quick planning, and 2 hours later we were on a ferry headed for Tangier. I've been thinking a lot about this trip lately because Maggie's birthday's this month, and I remember this trip so fondly because it was one of the few times in my life where I felt free enough to just change all the plans at the drop of a hat. These are the papers I have left in my kit after the first card that I made. I'm really drawn to this teal pattern paper from the Miss Caroline collection from My Mind's Eye because it reminded me of all the detailed architecture and decor that we saw when we were in Morocco. I also like the color that looks nice with my picture, and I like how it goes with the pink in that shirt, which was a favorite of mine at the time. I lost it later on during that trip, so I might talk about it in the journaling because I think it's the only picture of me in that Where the Wild Things Are t-shirt. Since I know I want to call attention to that shirt, I'm also going to use this pink grid paper, which is a pretty good match for the color of the shirt. I think I'll also use that navy cardstock because it'll serve as a nice contrasting color to mount my photo. I'm looking for a brighter color to balance out the color scheme, so I came up with that scrap of yellow paper from the American Crafts Hip Hip Hooray 6x6 paper pad. I'm also going to use that gray piece of cardstock because I think I might want to do a little stamping on this layout, and that's a nice neutral for stamping on. Like I said, I'm going to be incorporating the clothespins for the challenge, so I'm putting 3 of those with the layout supplies. I think I'll use some of those Recollections wood veneer speech bubbles too, and I'm also going to use some baker's twine. I wasn't sure at this point whether I would use the pink or the yellow for contrast. I've had these bracket stamps for a few months and I haven't used them yet, so I'm really looking forward to using them before the series is over. I just don't think I'll be using it in this layout. I will be using the basic gray days of the week and month stamp set. It's so versatile and I end up using it on a ton of my layouts, but I just can't stop. I don't think I'll use the layouts here, but I'm really drawn to the arrows and the chevrons, so I'll see how I can use that. sure you can see that a lot has been done since the last time you saw the supplies. I thought I was filming when I put the layout together to this point, and as it turned out, I wasn't. So let me go back for you and explain some of the things that I've done here. I decided that I would hang the wood veneer pieces from the top of my layout with the yellow baker's twine, and I'll probably be hanging my other elements from it as well. I'm trying to build a focal point there to the bottom left of the photo. I went back to my kit to get those black die-cut letters to spell out Morocco, just because I like the high contrast of the black against the pink. I matted the photo with the navy cardstock with 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. Let me take all these embellishments off so that I can talk to you about the foundation of this layout. I recently took Chamel's Perfect Collection class, and I found it very interesting, both because I learned a ton of new things, and she also put a name and gave me reasons for some of the things that I was already doing. One of the things she talks about is proportion, and what sizes of paper scraps look good on a 12 by 12 layout. She gave a very good set of cutting diagrams, but I also added this 10 by 9 cut to what she gave me because it's something that I use a lot and it's really pleasing to my eye. If you see enough of my layouts, you'll see that size of paper over and over. The other thing that I did was that I wanted the yellow to be a vertical element, but I only had a 2" by 6" strip of it. All I did was cut it in half lengthwise, and I slipped the two pieces under the larger pink grid paper to give the illusion that I have a large piece of yellow behind it. The illusion makes it seem like the yellow scraps I use were even bigger than the 6 by 6 piece of paper that I started with. So now I'm going to turn off the camera and adhere down the title and those little embellishments you saw before. I'll also do my journaling. And since I have a lot to say about this picture, I'm sure that there will be several different places where I'll be writing different parts of the story. So here's my layout with the journaling and the title. I used the clothespins to attach my picture and the M of the title to the baker's twine. I like how the clothespins make the twine a little bit more substantial and help to define that vertical line on the left. I've just secured the twine to the back of the layout with washi tape. I like the idea that the baker's twine is a little bit loose instead of pulled taut. You might have noticed that everything on the layout is placed on a little bit of a skewed angle. This is just to give the layout a sense of movement, which ties in with that free feeling that went along with that trip. So I want there to be a sense of that when people look at the layout. Along those same lines, you'll see the helter-skelter way that I placed the letters of the word Morocco. The letters overlap some, and some of them are on pop dots. Again, this is just to keep that sense of movement and whimsy going. Like I said before, this is a multi-part story, and I wrote 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different parts in separate areas of the layout. So as I embellish further, I want to keep in mind the order that I want those sections to be read. I'll use the embellishment to lead the reader's eye around the page. I'm going to start with the chevron stamp like an arrow to direct the reader. Since I decided to use the black letters instead of gray ones, I'll also be using the black StazOn ink to do my stamping instead of the pink that I showed at the beginning of the video. I'm just stamping the chevrons to mark the beginning of 3 of my bits of journaling. The nice thing about those clear stamps is that you can really easily reposition them so that you can stamp around bulkier elements.
Next, I've gone to that black and white polka dot Smash Collection washi tape. I'm just placing it along the diagonal to indicate to the reader that the first part of the journaling is at the top right and the last parts start in the bottom left. I thought about creating a visual triangle with a third piece of washi tape, but I just decided that I didn't have enough layers overlapping in that spot, and the tape just didn't seem grounded enough. Next, I took that Smash stamp and masked off the date so it wouldn't get ink. I stamped the word stolen around the page because I felt like this side trip was a little time that we stole away from a trip that was otherwise pretty regimented. Next, I'm going to go to my enamel dots, and I'll play with them a little bit. I originally thought that I was going to use the gray, but it doesn't go with the black quite as well as I hoped that it would. I tried the yellow dots in a few places, but I didn't really like them anywhere. I just feel like enamel dots are a little bit expensive for what they are if you don't absolutely love what they're doing. And so I decided to just put them away and use them on a different layout. I stopped there to take a look at the layout, but I still feel like it's missing something. I took that pink ink pad and inked the top right and bottom left corners just to emphasize that diagonal line again that I talked about before. And I liked that better, but I still feel like it needed something. I got out my pink balloon sprinkler spray mist, and just using the tube from the bottle, I shook out some of the drops on the diagonal. In case you're wondering, I was filming this on top of my freezer in my kitchen because it's right next to the window and it gets better light than anywhere else in the house. I'm not really worried about getting ink all over it though, because I can just take a little bit of rubbing alcohol and the ink will wipe right off of it. Here's where I'm going to call this layout done. It doesn't have a ton of embellishment, but I really like the clean look of the finished product. Thanks for coming to see my video today. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you're interested in seeing more of my cards, layouts, or layered digital scrapbooking templates, you can find me at myrainbowcoalition.blogspot.com. Thanks for watching.